Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the 13th Fleet After Action Report. I am Chris. I am pleased to be with you again for another week. I know there may have been some questions about that, but have no fear, I am still here, and I also have some friends with me. How's everybody doing tonight?
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. We've got Garrett, we have Reuben, we have Nick. So we've got a full board here, and we are definitely going to be talking about offensive retrofits tonight. However, we can't go without at least addressing the big news from AMG.
The woolly mammoth in the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're on vacation, baby.
Yeah. So okay, if you allow me.
Oh, absolutely.
There we go. Okay, so obviously everyone's probably aware. Our game and X-Wing, shockingly, has been discontinued. So no more development and no more printing of expansions. Okay, so if you're looking to get stuff, now's the time to purchase it at retail value for everything.
Now the question is, can we buy the molds?
Well, no. Those unless you have $100,000, probably not. So now,
Dang.
And in China. So, anyways, but what I was going to say was...
Reuben's looking to start a business venture.
We have a year until the end of this organized play season. It is officially supported by Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games. The Grand Tournament schedule has been announced, and there are also X-Wing and Armada store kits still coming this year. And from what I understand, they're free to game stores, which is pretty nuts. Including that Grand Tournament kit was apparently free too. And it's got all the prizes from Worlds with the cool dice, the alt-art cards. So it's a good chance to pick up some stuff. I'm curious what the store kit's going to be made out of. We don't know yet.
Ion Radio has made the announcement that they have already beat you to the molds, Reuben. That is a joke.
Ken, come on, man.
Let's see. Hi, Ken. Let's see. Not being watched. I gotta say things carefully.
The big boss is here.
I was gonna say. So, anyways, so all tournaments, official tournaments, you can do whatever you want at your house or the local store. I don't care. But all the official tournaments will follow the outlaid tournament regulations rules that we have now. Okay. So nothing changes really. We still have our latest errata from last October. And then, so we'll carry through with that until things change. And then in 2025, when the next, I guess, unofficial season, we'll call it, happen, the community will come together. We'll make a board to, make sure the rules stay on point for competitiveness. And I just want to say, obviously, there's no wrong way to play a plastic ships game, okay? So, you can play however you want and make cool homebrew stuff. That's all good. But Armada is at its core like a beautiful, elegant, competitive game with just purely amazing mechanics. So we want to continue that forth, and you'll see over the next, couple weeks, couple months, everybody put in place. I mean, you know who your community leaders are, right? I know Gold Squadron Podcast put out a really positive note about how they're going to take over, and so we'll see something similar soon from the Armada community. So no worries there. But yeah, I'm excited. Listen, it's kind of like the weight's off, right? They finally said it, so we can move on, right? Like, is it he said, she said? Are we doing it? Are we not going to do it? No, we're here now. It's time to take the reins and move forward, because there's no game like Armada, right? There's really no game like X-Wing for Star Wars. You got Star Trek Attack Wing, but Star Trek, boo, right, Ken?
And I want to throw out to people who may be worried that just because it may be carried on by a group of individuals who are not the group that made the game, I want to remind you that there are games like HeroScape that still have a really, really vibrant tournament community, and HeroScape hasn't been published in 10, 15 years now.
I think you can buy it again.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I don't know about that. I just want to throw out there that there are tournaments going on to this day And Ken is disagreeing with you, Garrett. Star Trek is pretty good. Need some tater gear for that now.
Uh, but yeah, no, Chris, you're absolutely right. If your game is good, it's going to continue, right? We've seen, I mean, people play games from the 80s. I think Ken, like, he's at least 90, and he plays games like from like the 1970s, to, like Starfleet Battles or something. So I looked it up once. Looks archaic as hell.
That is a painful game to play. I can tell you, I've played it before. It's really well written, but man,
no, it looks good. It looks good. But yeah, so anyways, what I'm saying is we're a Star Wars game with beautiful models and ways to get more models, and you know the community's out there, and it's going to continue forth. So if you think this thing's going away, I mean, I've been trying to get rid of this for years, so it didn't work.
For real.
But anyways, today's show, offensive retrofits.
Yes.
Let's do it. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut off anybody.
I would just be repeating the things you said, really, like just in different words.
Yeah.
You know, it's a game that we all love, and as long as there's people to love it, you know, like local scenes aren't going to change. Just because they are officially not continuing development doesn't mean we're not going to have local tournaments. Doesn't mean people aren't going to show up and play their game. So, you know, There's no reason to quit.
And Ken wanted to clarify that he's actually 87 and not 90. So
My apologies.
You look great for 87, Ken.
Just say it looks good.
Well, I guess I'll say my bit. I'm extremely, extremely disappointed in what AMG has done to this game that I love, and all the people in this, like on this podcast, know my intense passion for this game, to play it, to execute it, and to have the people who are supposed to safeguard it, to develop it, to show this game how beautiful it is to other players and make it better, to do nothing with it for 4 years and then cancel it and have it be 2 weeks of us not knowing about why our product isn't being stocked before we're even told anything. Me personally, I don't know if, like, I'm a passionate person, and I don't know if I can take part in their tournaments. Like, I love Armada, but what AMG has done to kill a game that I love, I don't know if I can like reconcile.
Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear. The people who organize the tournaments are not.
Yeah, I mean, like this world.
So, and the world is huge help from Adepticon. Adepticon's been great for us, and it's really important to support them. But like overall, the communities and the people are the ones that organize the tournaments and run it. Mm-hmm. So,
and
absolutely continue to support them.
Like, my thing is they're talking about their worlds being a celebration of all these games that they love. That's what they've said about our worlds, and I don't know if they're really obviously celebrating this game that they love. I love it a whole lot, but I'm not so sure about them considering. But
right, well, we're at where we're at, and we have our last season at Worlds, so we're gonna take it, enjoy it. We're gonna see a lot of good people we didn't know if we'd see again, and then we're going to continue forward from there. So,
and I'm going to let you guys know that I am going to keep you up to date as much as I possibly can on what's going on. Of course, some things I can't talk about, some things I can, and I am very, very anxious for the future of the game.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to.
Definitely.
There's a lot of people working on this game.
When do I get my double black bomber Luke? With Adam.
Listen. If I do anything in the next 5 years, it's making Luke Skywalker.
And where's my Wraith Squadron?
Brace, scatter, no escort, Adept 2, maybe double red bomb with Adept 2. All right, let's stop.
And I want Higgy to be a squadron that has Jinden's ability, except it's in Rebels.
Listen, well, we can think about Wraith Squadron. But anyways,
you can tell what I've been reading.
Speaking of squadrons, let's wrap it back to offensive retrofits.
Which is a bigger category than I thought it was initially. When I was downloading images, I was like, "Oh crap! There's more of these than there are than ions."
Yeah, and they're
there's a
all
lot. Yep.
so different. So it's a cool category.
All right, everybody. This is gonna be our most offensive episode.
That's
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
amazing.
I got my hot takes loaded.
All right, I have tried to organize them in a way that we can read them in a tier way, and we can debate whether I'm wrong or right. I figured we'd start with the offensives that are go for all the factions, and then we'll just do GARs and CIS last, separate.
Okay.
So first thing, F tier garbage, advanced transponder net. Nick, defend it.
Oh my god.
I'll read it. I'm sorry.
Just go ahead.
Advanced transponder net. It's a modification. Okay. It's 5 points, so nothing terrible. It's friendly heavy squadrons at distance 1 to 2 of the ship this is on. Prevent engaged squadrons from attacking ships. So basically, it just makes heavy not heavy on bombers.
Yeah. If this was 6 points, but not a modification, I would take this. I would definitely take this. I love the card. I hate that it's modification. That is
SSD,
the worst.
right?
That is the worst. Yes, on the SSD, absolutely. I tried. I tried taking this. I tried running it. I've run it with an ISD with decimators. I tried it on the super with decimators. Really just decimators. It's really just decimators. Decimators don't need to be heavy. I mean, come on. Well, it's fine that they're heavy, but then why is ATN a modification? It hurts. It hurts so much. I don't want to waste my offensive on a defensive ability.
On ATN.
Or my modification on a defensive ability like this. I need QBTs. I need spinals. I have other needs that are higher than this. And because it's a modification, I'm never going to take it. Because there's no ship that is just saying like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll be fine with that. I'll be fine with that my modification this entire game. Because sometimes
is Ruthless Strats a modification?
It is not, but it's a weapons team, which is also
Link to the
really
laser towers a modification.
It is not.
Okay,
You can do
so
all.
hear
You
me
can do
out.
all three. Yep.
Hear me out. 13 Y-Wings, ATN, Ruthless Strategist, and LTTs, baby. Come try to bomb me.
Can you fit 13 Y-Wings in a list? How
10
many?
points each.
Yeah, they're 10 points.
Oh, okay.
We don't need aces where we're going.
Hey,
And that's
hey.
But all right, we better move on. One last fun fact: the art on this card is, I think it's of an Allegiance class battle cruiser.
what?
It's a Legends. It's like double the size of an ISD.
It was the super, like not super.
I could be wrong, but it looks like I'm like referencing my Essential Guide to
Where's
Warfare.
this in my
every
canon?
fan should have this book, by the way. Anyways,
dang, I feel
there's the real shots fired in the episode.
Moving on.
For the record, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna do what I always do. For the record, this was available only in the Rebellion and the Rim expansion.
Yeah. What? So,
interesting.
Because it was the idea was like make your generics better.
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
All right.
Why didn't we play
it.
ATN in Rebellion and the Rim?
It's still not
like
good.
it.
Still not good.
Yeah. It's hard to fit on a ship that doesn't have a double offensive.
When you two read my rules and we play Rebellion and the Rim again, man, there are a lot of these upgrades that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. All right. So moving on. Next, we're going to what I called C tier, which in my book is average. All right. It's okay.
So we skipped over D entirely. There's nothing.
There's no D tier.
Yeah. That's which is interesting. Actually, I think I have a D tier, but it's CIS. All right. C tier, rapid launch bays. What do you think? Who wants to take that one? Who wants to read? Do you got it up? I can read it if we need to.
Yeah, somebody read it and then I'll talk about
I got it in front of me too.
You got it? Okay, go.
So before deploying fleets, you may set aside a number of friendly squadrons up to your squadron value next to your ship card. Squadron command: for each squadron you would activate with this command, you may place one of your set aside squadrons within distance 1. It cannot move this activation.
So I want to say, I love this card. I love the idea of it.
Very cool.
But I won't. Okay, you guys go.
Okay, so We're not going to talk about Marg Sabal, because I've had that happen to me. Nick Griffiths. Cool player. Chatty's gone. Okay, follow me into this theory craft. It's a Radis fleet. There's a large involved that has rapid launch bays and B-wings. And then you come out of nowhere, and you go, oh, prepare to be double arced and bombed optimally. Now, the problem with this is that this is so absolutely all in and risky that if it goes wrong, you are so screwed that's why people don't typically do it.
Yeah. Well, I will say that
with
with offensive retrofits in general, as I was looking over all of them, they feel like all of them are good in the right scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
I'll say this: a rapid launch base is really, really good until it gets to the very last sentence. It cannot move this activation, and all of a sudden, it's like crap. Right? Like I can only, like it puts you at a distance 1 limit, right? And it takes away, your activation of squadrons. So that makes it like you're deploying squadrons,
your deployments,
because you're putting it in your ship. So it's
another note: Plo Koon, Venator, Arc 170s. I've had it drive by me. It's pretty scary.
Yes.
I do want to. Oh, go ahead, Garrett.
Oh, I'll say, and it's good on the Venator with Plo Koon because the Venator can drop, 5 Arc 170s.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I want to try with this. Okay, so hear me out. Super Star Destroyer.
Again.
You've got rapid launch base. You take 5 YV666s, right? Speed 2. Okay? They're speed 2.
Okay.
You don't have to deploy them at your regular deployment zone.
Okay.
On turn 1, you can just drop them at the tip of your super, and they're already in your opponent's face.
Okay.
It solves the problem.
You're sending the angry school buses right to school.
Right? It solves the problem.
I feel like this is a sector fleet. Really good idea for sector fleet on the Executor.
Ooh.
Actually.
Oof,
It's a good spot for
Squad 6.
I feel like this is more of a, you know what, nobody's going to expect this, so I'm going to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only issue with that is even if I don't expect it, and I see you have rapid launch bays, and the first thing you do is you set aside all of your bombers, it doesn't matter if I expect it or not. I'm going to know what you're doing with it, right? I honestly, I would. This is kind of just me personally. I would have loved to have seen this just be the generic. Like this should have been the basic generic rule for squadrons in general. Like, if you're bringing squadrons, get your squadrons out. I know that would be a big setback. You'd have to be a big old change to how squadrons are deployed. Like, there would be a lot of changes to the rules, but the idea that your squadrons start the game within your ships and you have to, like, actually deploy them, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. Or make it optional, right?
Make it
like
Empire
you can keep
required.
them inside your hangar if you
Rebels stay outside.
Because
maybe that could be like a rogue thing. Is like they don't have to start deployed.
I've thought about ideas for that kind of thing with like campaign alternate play.
Okay. Moving on. All right. My next C tier, totally average card. Point defense reroute. 5 points. While attacking a squadron at close range, you may reroll your critical icons. This card has been replaced by so many other cards. It's just no reason to take this card.
Yeah, I'd actually put it below C for that very reason.
Yeah, it has an ability, right, that is usable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a 2 blue flak, or a black blue, but really 2 blue is where it shines the most. You can, roll an accuracy or a hit, and then a critical, and then reroll the crit.
The biggest thing,
yeah, it's okay. It's an okay card.
Biggest thing to remember though is even with your 2 blue is you can still only reroll at close range.
Yes.
And because I ran this on my super with the red blue flak because red blue is just kind of inconsistent on getting your damage through. And it's nice when you have a ship with 2 offensive retrofits, so you don't have to like waste your 1 offensive on like a card that it should be 3 points, 3 or 4 points. It really doesn't need to be 5.
You know, I like this. Chris is right. Honorary movement down to D tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emoted.
I got
emoted.
one.
Although I question too. The Super has the Annihilator title for 8 points, and basically does the same thing.
Oh, now you gotta make me go look
There's
at
an
the
Annihilator
supers.
title.
Annihilator,
Supers have titles.
Oh my.
Hold on.
There's supers in this game.
Oh my
Where's the
goodness.
stupid super?
The
Annihilator.
Annihilator go ahead. Garrett.
While attacking a squadron,
Okay.
you may reroll 1 attack die. However, what Nick didn't say is it's 8 points.
I did say. That's why I said it's 8
Oh,
points.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
He did say that.
That's a lot. All right.
Yeah.
When Ravager is 4 points. All right.
Yeah.
So much better. I think
Anyways,
this card
I just don't
is held
see.
back.
I don't see any reason to take this over any other retrofit that I was picking through. I just
Play Squadless Super, and you'll learn that you need this card. But it's still not good. I still hate that I have to take it.
Yeah. It's
'Cause,
held back that there's not a lot of ships that have double offensives. And the ships that do have double offensives have a high enough squad value that you're going,
That you're-
ooh. I'm
taking
looking at
other
the ones
things.
that are going to be an S tier later in the video.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm never taking this on a Quasar. I'm never taking this on an ISD. I'm never taking this on a Victory. I'm just not taking this on anything but a Super. And in that case, I would say I don't want to say it's like definitely necessary. But if you're planning on going like squadless or very low squadrons with the Superstar Destroyer, this is kind of required. But that's like the only case I can make for this card.
I still
Love
feel there are better tools, but hey, I may be wrong. I would have
Come
to
on, I did this.
research.
I did this with QLT and Agent Callus.
Gotcha.
All right. So
Somebody
moving
hates
on.
squads.
Moving on to I didn't put anything in B tier. Okay, I called the next tier A tier, which means these are all good. And the first one I want to talk about is disposable capacitors, which are awesome for
The
3
pain.
point. What a cool ability! You can only put it in small and medium ships, but when you activate, you discard this card, and if you do, the blue dice in your battery armament can be used while attacking ships at close to long range until the end of the round.
Yep.
I wish this card could be used in more Rebel fleets.
So cool. This card, yeah. So
Yeah,
Reuben's told me about it.
I do not understand why this can't be used on the Carillion Corvette. Is that CR90? I always have trouble remembering the names.
Yeah.
Oh, because it doesn't have an offensive. Retrofit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
I have no
That's
idea.
why. That's Chris's point. Yeah.
Well, first off, listen. Your CR90 needs no more buffs. Right?
The hell you
I mean,
say.
yes, I agree.
But,
I absolutely agree.
So I love decaps. They're amazing. On our poor victory, it makes that victory all of a sudden great. In one round.
Absolutely necessary.
Because you can attach it, hit it long range, move in, hit again with all your dice twice in a row.
Trigger your HIEs, blast people.
Put this on a raider too.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot it at long range with your blue dice. Get that overload pulse in,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Beautiful, right? You can put this on. What's the other thing?
Hammerheads with Sato and APTs.
Yep, that's the rebel use.
That's
Gotcha.
the one Rebel use.
Because you put Sato squadrons next to the ship and throw
So you
that, and then
You put on
boom.
an interdictor, make it,
Oh, yeah.
just-
Yes, the
Interdictor,
interdictor. Thank you. That's the
good.
ship I was thinking of.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, decaps. 3
You
points.
said 4 Imperial ships in a row.
So good. Yeah, I mean it's an Empire.
Yeah,
an Empire thing.
that's the
It
problem.
came with the Quasar.
Love it. Oh,
Weird.
yes, Pete. I've seen people use it on the Quasar too. Battle
I've seen people
Quasars.
put boarding troopers on a Quasar, so nothing surprises me anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so decaps.
It makes putting board troopers on your Quasar will keep people away from your Quasar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
I never thought
yeah.
of boarding troopers
Garrett-
as a defensive upgrade.
Oh, well, the
Definitely,
Quasars have
definitely is.
squad value 4.
Definitely
right?
is.
4, 5,
4.
4. Yeah,
4 bit. You usually put expanded on it, which is why you think it's 5 all the time.
yeah.
Big
Um,
fighting tokens.
And we'll get to that. So yeah,
I do want to say one last thing. So with this card, it says when you activate whatever. So timing wise, that is before you reveal your dial. Just to get that out there, it is until the end of the round, which means if you have a double arc, that's both your shots. If you have a salvo token, that is a future salvo. So there's one thing I think about when you're playing this card is that like it's all of your attacks until like you go to status phase, and that means like if you activate that ship early, you can get a lot of mileage out of this card for 3 points.
yes.
So-
I might be willing to put that into S tier.
It's pretty good, and it's only not
I
S
w-
tier because it's one round.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say it's only
points.
small and medium ships.
Yes, can't put it on
I mean,
assignment.
Still,
Or
at
a
3
guy's-
points.
Oh, it's-
it's yeah.
This is a definition of A tier for me.
Yeah,
I think
or this on like a
Empire
Liberty.
is S, for sure.
I think we got to reserve S for like cards that you take on like any. It's good on any ship, right?
Automatic state. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
takes
So the
the
next,
victory to playable. That's S in my book.
yes.
The
The next.
Shots fired.
I'm sorry. Keep this going here. The next one we got to go over is flat guns. This is a Clone Wars era upgrade card added to the game. It is also really cool. Flat guns, 3 points. Again, such good prices. You treat each die in your anti-squadron armament as black. That is really important. While performing, and then it's got another ability. While performing a salvo attack, the black dice in your battery armament can be used at medium range, and the blue dice in your battery armament can be used at long range. This card has a lot of uses.
Mm-hmm.
This
What do you
card's
guys think?
really cool. I can't leverage it as well as other factions can in Rebels, but you can see this, like a build like this with Radis, 2 Rebel Larges, and you have the 75 Ordnance, and you give it flak guns because it already has black flak, and you say, okay, well, if you try to shoot me and I have local fire control with my 2 contains, I'm going to shoot you back. And just to put that extra pressure of damage on there with Mon Carin and Profundity, and it's a very like all-in, I'm going to 10-1 or get 110 list. Other than that, Starhawk, yeah, you could do Starhawk, that
Now,
kind of thing.
I just want to
That's a
pose.
pretty interesting idea.
I just want to pose a question here that I have not done the math on this, so I don't know the actual answer here. But would flat guns be better than what was it we were talking about before that I did not like, but you said was a must on the super?
The point defense reroute.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a story, Chris. I ran flat guns for a long time with my super with local fire control, and getting rid of your red and blue flak for just 2 black flak, it's really hard. It's really hard getting rid of that range because you have so much threat range with that red and blue. And even if it's just like 1 red die at long range, when you roll damage on like squadrons, like just double brace bombers that are coming at you, and you start popping 1 damage while they're making their way to you, it hurts.
Okay.
Flat guns is good because 2 black, it's not necessarily an upgrade. It's kind of like a lateral exchange because 2 black at close is very, very good flak. But having that threat bubble of like, making your opponent have to... Yeah.
I was kind of misreading this card anyway, which also changes that because in my head I had replace each die, which meant that you could still fire it at that range, but you were using black. So that's a completely different thing. And
Different timing step.
Yeah.
No, that would be bonkers. And I would say this is a very good card.
So
and,
good.
Yeah.
Especially on the Starhawk and the Super.
I think double black is considerably worse than blue black on the flak department. I've flown a lot of double black flak Rebel Providence. People just stay away from it because when they activate their squadrons to come and bomb you, they go, oh, boink, get shot. You flak them once and you try to kill them. And then they go, oh, bomb you. Fly onto this rock. Bye.
Right,
So-
and usually have ordnance experts. So once you see ordnance experts and double black flak, it's like, well, do I want to commit suicide or not? Like, what's the decision?
Yeah. So
And if you do have ordnance experts, that can make a better argument for this card. But that's you're getting into more
Builds.
specialized builds, and it's hard to give up long range flag. No, like Reuben said, if you have blue black, trading for black is not as big a deal. But if you're running like a Starhawk or a Super where you have that red blue, it's a lot. It's a lot to give up. Now the salvo is nice. That's nice.
Now, personally, I think you should only look at trying to do this if you don't have a native salvo and you want to make a ship that doesn't have a native salvo, a salvo boat. You want 3 dice out of your rear printed battery armament, because the minute you go from 2 dice, which is like we're gonna average like 1, to 3 dice, where you're averaging like 2-ish, and you could maybe spike that roll and hot dice somebody, and then it's like 3 damage back at them when they just shot you for probably about that much. Very difficult to deal with.
And the economy of it. For 3 points, you can afford to take local fire control and flat guns. It's cheap, right?
It's true. That's also a very good point to it.
But yeah, all right. So next one. We love flat guns. Everyone loves it. Next one. This used to be like my favorite upgrade card when I first started playing the game, and I was playing Empire.
I already know where you're going.
Hardened bulkheads, baby. Hardened bulkheads. Large ship only, obviously.
Hardened bulkheads.
Choo-choo, we're coming through.
5 points. 5 points. And this is a really good new player card, I think, because as a new player, you don't like running squads because they're fickly, okay? And you're like, I want to build a big, meaty ship. Let's put in hardened bulkheads on this thing, because when you overlap a ship of smaller size, or you are overlapped by a ship of smaller size, you don't take a damage card, basically, right? You deal 1 less, which is just so cool. You could just ram the crap out of things. This is straight out of like the Rogue One scene, right, where the stupid GR-75 just explodes, disintegrates against the Devastator.
And this also applies to your own ships, so just keep that in mind.
Yep, doesn't specify enemy.
It's really, really important.
I've watched you two hit each other so many times and run over rocks so many times.
It's a tactic.
I feel
it's a tactic now?
Yeah.
I feel like this card was written by a U.S. Army tanker.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna go through it.
Fido, that's and if you guys know what Fido means, fantastic. If not, we're not going to go into that.
Oh yeah, hardened bulkheads. Anybody else have anything else about it?
Came with the Chimera.
Came with the Chimera.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
Don't fly where you overlap things unless you want to.
Yes. All right. So yeah. So next thing I want to talk about here.
That's
good card. Nothing really to say about it. Yeah.
So before we get back to S tier, we're going to talk about situational and good. Situational and good. Flag Bridge. Off the top, Flag Bridge is a really cool card. It came out later. It's medium or large ship only, flagship only modification. That's a 0-point card, and you gain a fleet command slot in your upgrade bar. And you cannot spend a command token to resolve that fleet command card's effect. So if you put, intensify firepower in your ship with Flag Bridge, it's a one-time use, because you got to discard it. This card is used on one thing, really. It's on a Venator or an Acclimator, and then it's used to take the Mercy mission and put it onto a Consular for the Republic. That is like what this card is for. I have not really seen anybody else do anything nuts with this. I'm sure it's possible, though. I think Reuben theory crafted an idea of like making his B-Wings go speed 3 for 1 round or something.
You can so the biggest limiting factor of this card strategically in the game, when you're like executing a game of Armada, is the fact that you can only do the fleet command once. I think this card is so cool and thematic because it's, we're going to do this one order once, and we're going to get this cool fleet-wide effect, which are all really powerful if you can time them right. Intensify Firepower is the best one, but it's the best one when you can do it every turn because of how it manipulates your damage, and we'll talk about that when we talk about fleet commands. For this card, specifically, being able to do it just once is very limiting for the strength of this card, but it's also basically free, right? 0 points.
Yeah.
So
My
Yeah, it
if you can get it to fit with the right idea of how to get it to work, because I was using 2 assault frigates with speed 3 squads. So when you do that alpha strike turn of all fighters follow me, and then everything goes speed 4. After playing all those E-wings for like a month and 2 months, I don't know. Time just is irrelevant now. Speed 4 is really good. So being able to take that one turn of alpha strike to go, hey, these X-wings, you're zooming, really good, Chris.
My only complaint about this card actually has nothing to do with the rules on it. I just feel like the picture for it should be a rebel. just because, like, hey, we don't have a real fleet, so we're just going to throw this flag bridge on whatever ship we find, and we're going to run with it.
I agree. However, there's a rebel in the background. It's Green Squadron about to ram into Piet.
Great.
Let's see. Okay, so next situational good. And I hate this card. It's being used against me. It's Phylon Q7 tractor beams. All right.
I love that card.
Because when people use this card, they use like 2 copies of it minimum, along with an interdictor with G8s, and maybe Constantine if they're feeling really annoying. And it manipulates your speed and gets rid of your nav tokens. It's just really annoying. It's a modification, 6 points. When you activate, you may exhaust this card to choose 1 enemy ship of your size, class, or smaller at distance 1 to 5. Okay, that's insane. That ship must spend a nav token or reduce its speed by 1 to minimum 1. Not temporarily reduce, straight up reduce your speed.
Change your dial.
It can't take you to speed 0, but man, when you need to go speed 2, this thing is a nightmare to get hit with.
Yeah.
And let's not forget how wonderful it is with raid builds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because you take away their nav tokens that they were going to use to get rid of their nav raid token.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and you slowing them down. It's a card that's very, like you said, situational and good. It needs support. You need to build around this card. It's not just a card you slap on a list and it does a good job. You really need to think about what you're doing. That's why Garrett, I'm running this with the G8s on the interdictor. I love it. It's so much fun because this game is so much about navigating and maneuvering. And when you tell your opponent,
Dooku, you know,
yeah, you tell your opponent, just like, you're gonna have trouble navigating this game, and you get to dictate the battle so much more.
Right.
It's situational. I would say it's a very good card, maybe like an A tier card with the support that it needs, like the support structure.
Polish Farmhawk was Q7s and Magnites, right? So that's the point about this card. Q7s, not quite efficient enough by itself because it only pops off the token if there's a token present. The minute you combine it and have that like synthesis rules, right? Synthesis power of Q7s and another speed manipulating effect, then you're really locking somebody up.
Yeah. All of a sudden, just absolutely annoying.
We have mentioned synergy is good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, so Final Q7s. Anybody else have anything else? Yep. All right, moving on. Next one is Quad Laser Turrets. Really cool card, I think. This is basically built for the Superstar Destroyer, in my opinion. It's 5 points. It can be used elsewhere.
I want to hear Reuben defend this.
It's for my ships.
What? Well, yeah, the Starhawk, the Rebels mini SSD. While defending at distance 1, which is a squadron, if the attacker is a squadron, you have counter 1. Now, this card is cool because first off, counter 1 is 1 blue die. All right, people love to combo this card with Agent Callus, who lets you add dice to a unique squadron when you're attacking them, and they also combine this with flat guns, which lets you replace that blue with a black. Which is really interesting. And Damon Xantos taught me that. If you've ever seen him, I was like, "Oh, that's genius."
I got conflicting rules clarification at Worlds with that when I tried doing that. Yeah, people told me that it does not how that works. And I was like, All right, prove it. I mean, like
It's a timing
I
thing.
don't know. It's time exactly. I was like, judges kind of go. It's controversial. Let's just say. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Did you post on the forum?
I did
To
not
be a
post on the
ruling.
forum.
it might be posted. We'd have to look. But anyways,
Well-
what do you like about it, Reuben? What ship do you like to
So-
get on?
There's this ship. It's called the Starhawk Mark 1. And you put quad laser turrets on it, and expert shield techs, and ordnance experts. And you flak those generics right out of the sky, and it feels great. And you sit on your side of the board, and you hoover up all your objective points, and you say, come bomb me, I dare you. Because right beside your Starhawk, you got my other good friend, the Rebel Providence, who also has this upgrade, and double black flak and ordnance experts, and you go, oh, well, if you attack my buddy, he's going to shoot you, and then we're both going to flak you. And if you attack me, I'm going to shoot you, and then we're both going to flak you. The problem is that you're slow. And because you're slow, all those speed 5 bombers, like Merrick, Jindin, and Vader, go far away from you, and you can't get to them. That was the problem with Brick Fleet. So I really like this card. I really like how you can layer your damage with this effect with Flak and Torn Far, because in Rebels you use Torn Far instead of changing it to a black dice. You just get to reroll the blue dice as long as your fleet composition and deployment and movement is appropriate. So like you're getting all your upgrades everywhere. I'm really interested to see how this would work if you took something like the TI-99
I was getting ready to ask that.
vultures kind of stuff, where you say, okay, here's a squad ball that's going to hurt you, but you'll kill it. Then when you get to my ships, like the Munificent or something like that, I'm going to still plink you for damage, because generally the most efficient damage you can do to a squadron is 1 damage.
Right.
So I don't know. I think there's space there, but there's probably not enough ships that have the upgrade bar to really like utilize it.
The Recusant's there, but we'll talk about why it doesn't get taken over other better offensives. But yeah, kill T's. Anybody else got anything great to say about him? I'm sorry, Nick. I don't know. Did I take your SSD Thunder? I apologize. I think I did.
I feel like I talk about the SSD. Like I played it for like the last 9 months, so
Yeah,
I don't have anything to talk about other than supers.
It's an interesting dilemma for you though, because a lot of these cards are like only good on the SSD that we talk about sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like you're not putting QLTs on an ISD, right?
No, yeah, you're taking. There's like a dozen other options.
Anything else? So anyways, yeah, quality shirts.
Yep.
Pretty cool card. Combined with Agent Callus.
Absolutely.
Profit. Next card, this is a local favorite of one of our players, Jeff.
I know where we're going now.
Proximity Mines. This is a neat card. It's cool. Why can I not? There it is. It's 4 points, which is cheap in Armada. Before deploying fleets, you may discard this card to place a number of Proxmine tokens equal to half your engineering value rounded down. You may place these tokens anywhere in the play area and beyond distance 5 of enemy ships and distance 1 of each other. So this is really cool. So first off, before deploying fleets, you discard this, blah, blah, blah. And then you place them in the... and this really dictates where the enemy is going to feel like flying to. Because if you land within distance 1, you take 3 blue die, and you take damage straight to the hull. And the second thing is, when you shoot at them, they're treated as a squadron. So you could shoot at them with a ship with your flak. Now, a lot of ships only have one flak die. Okay. And if you put these on an obstacle, you can't shoot at them, basically, because they're obstructed. So that's really smart. And prox mines are another tool that you layer with, and they go great with rebels because they have really annoying mechanics like Ezra Bridger, who moves obstacles around. They got Sabine Wren, who puts more mines out.
Makes another one.
And then they have Matt Martin, who can put out a mine instead of activating each time he activates. Prox mines. It's real. I mean, they're a cool card. What do you guys think?
Interdictor, grab ship reroute, fly them all around.
Yes.
You're playing Doom Station. You put them on there. They're sliding all over the place. Now, I'm going to take issue with you putting this in situational, but good. This card is just good.
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I'll agree. Yeah,
I
I don't think this card is situational at all.
I think it's because you have to commit. You really
exactly.
You have to have more than one ship running this, in my opinion.
And situational means like you have to have a support system around it. You have to have other upgrades. You have to have your ships designed to work with it. That makes it situational.
Down and like it does stuff.
I mean,
it's straight up like
I didn't say there.
We said Q7 was synthesis.
I said they're situationally good. Like the only bad thing in this whole thing is advanced transponder net. All right.
Yeah.
True.
And taking just one proximity mine is not a big deal. Like I ran, and you guys, we did the Rebellion, the Rim campaign. I ran this on my interdictor, and I hit about as many mines as my opponents did throughout that entire campaign. They're not easy to get the trigger, and that was on a 3x3 map. Like they're good, but you really have to force your opponent into that. You have to have objectives that force your opponent onto the mines.
Yeah, I say it's not an it's not really an offensive retrofit. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It denies territory to your enemy.
Yeah,
it's weird that it's in this slot, but I'm not sure where I would really put it.
That's good.
I think it's a good slot for it.
I don't know where else I'd put it either.
You're launching the mines, right?
The theme of the offensive retrofit slot, based on the upgrade cards that are in it, is kind of weird.
It's kind of all over the place.
It's a lot of anti-squadron stuff, but also we're gonna shoot a little bit better, but also kind of be utility. It's interesting that this slot is kind of a lot of the other cool ideas in the game slot, whereas the other slots like
are very
like the
defined.
weapons team slot is like very defined at what it does.
Yep.
And then like outside of the obviously the ion cannon, laser, turbo laser, all like ordnance is all going to be very set. So this one is like the most flexible one.
So what do we got next?
So I was gonna say, only thing I want to say about that, I wish it was round up instead of round down.
I agree.
Oh, that'd be too good.
It's one more mine.
If you're a good player,
more mines.
I'm sorry. If you're a new player, make sure when you put these on the board, put them on an obstacle. Do not put them out in the open. They're worthless.
Don't put them where you plan to fly.
Yeah, that too. Okay, so anyways, moving on. That is my last situational and good. Let's talk about S tier. First one I want to talk about is Reserve Hangar Deck. This card is so good.
So
for
stupid.
3 points. This is a staple on CIS and even Empire fleets, but mostly CIS, all right?
Yeah.
It's a non-unique squadron with Swarm, keyword, at distance 1 to 5 is destroyed. You can discard this card, and if you do, you can put that squadron back on the board with hull point set at 2 at distance 1 distance 1 of your ship, and it's activated. So basically, it denies the enemy a kill. They take out like a Vulture or a Tri-Fighter or a TIE Interceptor or whatever, and then they get to put it back next to the ship, and then they deploy another one. So that you don't get the points for killing that unless you kill it again. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else can be said. So it's great. You layer these. You put them on like 2 or 3 ships.
Yeah, you only need a couple.
The math of this card is absolutely wild when you break it down. Because you pay 3 points to bring back either a TIE Fighter, which is 8 points. So every time you do it, you gain 5 points worth of effective squadron value. And anybody that knows anything about war games knows that the minute that you have a recursion effect, so bringing anything back to the board, it's extremely powerful because it takes you higher than the point limit of the game. So as a note, 3 of the top 8 at Worlds were Empire fleets that flew multiple copies of Reserve Hangar Decks.
With TIE Interceptors.
With TIE Interceptors or TIE Fighters. It's extremely good.
The counter keyword with Swarm is the key here. Because you're
so
forcing them to take counter hits and regular hits from this one squad twice.
You have to kill it again. And it's going to shoot back. Yep.
I wish I could fly stupid headhunters with Blount. Damn it.
I mean, you can. I'm not
They're
stopping
not
you.
going to do anything.
Yeah, nobody's stopping you.
They're not going to do anything.
Does anybody else have anything
you
for Reserve? Our amazing card here, S tier Reserve Hangar.
Put it on your Xantes. I don't know. There's nothing
Put it
else to
on
say.
everything.
Put it on
Take 3
it.
copies.
Put it
Yeah,
on
you
whatever you
can.
can do. Yeah. All right. So moving on then. Next S tier card. And these are in no particular order, by the way. But excuse me, Dr. Pepper. All right. Let's see. Expanded Hangar Bay. Straight to the fact. 5 points. Your squadron value is increased by 1.
Mm-hmm.
What more can you say?
One of my
So
favorite
good.
offensives. Yep.
Perfect card, right? Takes something that is mediocre, can make it good. Takes something that's good and makes it insane, like
Yep.
a Venator. A Venator has a squad value of 5. All of a sudden, it has a squad value of 6. Use a token with it, you got a squad value of 7. Use Ularn with it, you have a squad value of 8 now. And that is crazy.
Flight controllers.
And with the timing of this, I believe you can take this with, like, on a Quasar, you can take expanded with rapid launch bays, correct?
Yes.
And it increases, because it increases your squadron value. You have an additional squadron that you can put aside and deploy.
Correct.
I love upgrades that affect, like, your values of your card, like the values of your ships. It just feels like an upgrade card.
Yeah. And like we said, you can combine this with boarding troopers on a Quasar. Super cool. I mean, you can do that on SSD if you wanted to.
I'm gonna start doing that, Reuben. I'm gonna come at you with 2 Quasars.
That's fine.
I think wasn't that Boba Fett's fleet?
Yeah,
Right?
I've dealt with 2
Quasars.
Quasars. You
So
can't
funny.
do new stuff to me, man.
So funny. But yeah, expanded. Anybody else got anything to add?
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
If not, our last.
Bring us to
Definitely.
I wish my base squadron value was higher in my faction.
Oh yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll see what the next couple of years treats you. I'll put you on
I know,
the
right?
list.
Yeah. Can I be the top of the list, please?
No. The next card is boosted comms. This is so good.
This is like the king of the offensive retrofits.
So obviously, you have to use this card with a squad command token or dial. You can activate friendly squadrons at close to long range instead of close to medium. And let me tell you, long range is a really long ways.
Really far.
Okay, everybody, because you just got to touch the edge of that squadron along.
And you're measuring, and whenever you're measuring range like this, you're measuring from the plastic of your ship, not from the cardboard.
That's right.
So it gets you that extra millimeter or 2.
And then you relay through your range 5 to then go and tell your Merrick and Vader to go bomb something. Or you have your Howl Runner go sloan somebody and make their day sad.
So you can hide. You can hide like a coward.
Distance.
Right. You hide like a coward, super far away with your Quasar, and can command your squadrons.
Yep.
Super awesome.
Absolutely.
So
it's
good.
probably. I mean, it is the best. Well, probably the best squadron pushing card. You see it all the time. Almost every fleet that brings squadrons will have a copy of this.
It's really good on something as simple as a Gazanti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a GR-75. Right?
GR-75, 8 Artalion, boosted, bomber. Ooh, you're
always bring boosted. And it's 4 points. 4 points.
So good.
Nothing.
And it's not a modification. Advanced Transponder Network.
Yeah. But yeah, super cool. Anything else?
I mean, we have nothing bad to say about it.
I gotta start powering through the rest of these. All right, so we have 4 unique ones left. 4 unique ones. We're gonna rush through these. The first one, the one that's famous and really good, is a Republic offensive. It's Fat Tees. All right, listen, everybody. This is an awesome card. You put it on your Venator. You put it on your Gar Victory, which are so much better than Imperial Victories. But anyways, what we're going to do here is it's 7 points. Okay, 7 points. Star Destroyer only. Okay, can't put on the Acclamator. Decrease your squad value by 2, but you don't care. All right, because you have a squad value of 5. And then you get an ignition token for close range combat. And you can put it out your side or your front. And this ignition token, when you shoot from it, allows you to fire off with 5 blue and 1 black die at close from the token, or 5 from medium of the token. Man, if you look at like somebody's like Texas Honey Badgers, Pizza Party list with like with intensify firepower and a Venator, and then like 3 more victories, and he's fatting from each of them, and you're just gonna get pummeled.
If only you had SW7s.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This card's awesome. You got to refresh it to place the token out. So you got to have like a generating method, like munitions resupply or Tarkin, or just any way you get con fire tokens. Sfat T Republic. Do you guys have anything to add other than they're awesome? They're either no slander.
I
watch out,
no
iconic.
comment because I have never played it.
Yeah, I'll need to spat you sometime.
Oh yeah, you got to get ignition, Chris. It's just
I played against it. I've seen that it can be effective. Yes, I have never used it myself because I have never flown Republic.
Yes, we gotta get you on that. All right. So, anyways, sorry.
I was gonna say, if you're running this, be wary of any of your opponent's shenanigans. They're gonna mess with your tokens or things like is it MS1 ion cannons that exhaust?
Can you exhaust upgrade cards?
Yeah, because they. Yeah, it's just one of those things to look out for. Any of these cards that have that upgrade refresh, you just have to be wary of slasher tools and stuff like that. They're gonna mess with your tokens. So, other than that,
Our next really weird card, but I've liked to run actually, is called Hyperspace Rings. Before deploying fleets, you may choose a number of friendly non-rogue squadrons. Good thing there's no rogues in Gar. Up to your squadron value, those squadrons gain Scout. This is a 3-point card. Listen, Scout is the most important part of this card. I don't know why it's not written on the card. So Scout is basically, you can put your squadrons at distance 5 beyond distance 5 of the enemy ships on the board. So basically, what I do is I take a Venator 2 with a squad value of 5 or 6 a squad value of 5, because this is your offensive retrofit. You take your 5 Arc 170s and put them in the middle of the board, basically, as long as they're distance 5 away from the enemy ships. And then, you start your Speed 2 Arc 170s ready to go. And it works. The only downside is it's your offensive slot. And this is basically, I think, only good on Arc 170s, because everything else is fast enough to do stuff. But Hyperspace Marines. What do you guys think?
When you're using this card, be careful to not overextend your Arc 170s. I had it happen to me in the team tournament at Worlds, and I got absolutely clubbed by a very nice German man. But so keep that in mind. You don't want to put anything that you scout forward in a position where it can just get alpha turn 1 and not have any support, because when you're playing squadless, you want to fight under your flak, not their flak, and you want to shoot them first, not get shot. Pretty simple.
Yes.
Hard to
do. The only other downside of it is it only applies at the very start of the game. So it's a weird point to use.
With how the rest of this fleet operates with the 2 Peltas and the 1 Venator, you kind of don't see this because people kind of play fighter coordination teams instead, because it's a little bit easier to control. But
this card really is
get bid deep, take first turn.
I was gonna
at them and blast them.
That was gonna be my point with the hyperspace rings. It's really easy to get your Arc 170s out of position, because this is while you're deploying fleets. So you're deploying your Arc 170s, and your opponent gets to see, you're putting your arcs here. Okay, well, I'm going to start putting more stuff over here away from that, and I'm just going to fly away from these Speed 2 squadrons.
Right. Hyperspace Rings. Pretty cool Scout effect. Look up Scout. We're moving on to the CIS. They have 2. The first one, these both are just an absolute mouthful, okay? All right. B2 Rocket Troopers. It's an exhaustible card. 7 points, and we'll get to why that's heinous, but also good. While performing a non-solo attack against a ship at close to medium range, you may exhaust this card. If you do, the defender gains 1 raid token of your choice. Important step. And then it has another effect. While attacking a squadron, you may exhaust this card. If you do, add 1 die of a color already in your attack pool to your attack pool. This is a really good thing to combine with LTTs. Okay, this card has 1 use, and that is to go with TF1726, because his whole thing is, for each raid token on an enemy ship, you add a black die. You take 3 or 4 ships, slap B2s on each of them with TF, and then go to town raiding them.
It hurts.
Yeah,
and throw them black dice.
It is obnoxious. If your opponent is flying this well against you, it's a hard game to fly because they are going to fly aggressively, and you just have to be prepared for it. If you are flying this, just keep in mind that, especially when you're running TF, you get really in the zone of using this against ships. But keep in mind that this is really effective against squadrons, because adding a die against squadrons is a big deal.
I will say that I tried running this with Dooku, and it's not as solid a combo as you might think that it would be. It feels like it would be a good mix, but it's not quite as good as having the tractors.
Right.
Interesting.
Because you're not messing, because the tractors with Dooku layer the messing of the nav.
Yeah.
This just kind of is annoying.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
You can only raid the same token like once.
Yeah.
If you already hit somebody with a nav raid, you can't hit him with a second one, and then your opponent just goes, I'm gonna clear all these tokens with a dial.
Right.
So it's just
And so the naysayers against this thing, the logic is always, well, it's really 26 points of TF and then 7 points per ship. So usually you have 4 ships, and you're now at a 54-point commander to make this thing work. I mean, it's
whatever.
good. It's really good. I'm not saying it's not good, but
I mean that's like saying Sloane is also the cost of all your squadrons. I mean,
I
understand.
the already good squadrons.
Well, she is.
Yes, she is.
She is.
Oh, Sloane makes the already good squadrons good. Oh,
okay.
golly!
Okay. Tell it to anybody who hates Sloane. They don't.
Just shut your brain off.
So B2s, but I think the part of B2s is overlooked is the added die to squadron attacks.
Yeah.
But don't only take it for that, because it's a lot of points. All right, so moving on to
last one.
real.
I love this card. I love this card so much.
All right, Garrett, explain this card to us. I want to see.
Oh my gosh! All right, everyone, listen. Everybody. I won't say everybody. All right, calm down, all the smart people out there. But I'll say most people who read this card immediately misunderstand it. Immediately, because it's just
it takes a couple reads. It takes a couple reads.
All right, hyperwave signal boost. So first off, really long name.
Way too long.
It's a cost exhausted card, so you got to spend engineering or squadron tokens to refresh it. Okay, it's 3 points. It's CIS only. All right, here we go. During the squadron phase, when it is your fleet's turn to activate squadrons, so you're 2, okay, you may exhaust this card to choose a number of unactivated friendly squadrons at close or long range of your squadron value. Sounds pretty good so far. This turn, activate each of those squadrons. Okay, so now instead of activating 2 squadrons, you're going to activate whatever up to your value is. Let's say you got a Providence. Okay, you're going to do 4. All right. While attacking each of those squadrons with AI, and this is the part that everyone always misses. While attacking, each of those squadrons with AI are treated as if they're activated by a squadron command. So
you can still only move or attack.
Right.
Yes.
You cannot move and attack or attack and move. All that's happening is you get your bonus die for your AI.
Yeah.
No.
Logistically, we just don't build 400-point fleets where you're taking like 14 squadrons that this would do something in.
And if you are taking 14 squadrons, you're taking the other offensive retrofits.
Yeah. I mean, you had how many in yours? Like 10, Chris?
Yeah.
How many vultures
10.
was that?
10 vultures.
I mean, I'd just rather have TI-99 because...
Yeah.
But then again, this thing and TI-99 and 10 vultures...
No, because you're only going to throw 3 die with your little vulture, okay? And it's just May. Just take TI-99 with reserve hangar deck.
Yeah.
That's
I wish this
did.
card. Yeah, I wish this card did more. It seems like they had some really cool ideas with AI and kind of making CIS squadrons different. They play differently than any other faction, and I know maybe they had bigger ideas. They wanted to be more bold, but they didn't want to mess with the balance too much. I feel like there's something in this card that was meant to be, and it's just not It's just missing it.
This is pure speculation. Pure speculation. Originally, I bet, again, speculation, this card was just give them the squad command and treat them as rogues, right? With AI.
Yeah.
And I bet it was just too much.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I bet it was really hard to balance. And so instead we have this garble of uselessness.
Yeah, I think they had problems with CIS squads during development in general. But just like me as an outside observer looking at CIS squads and how weird all the tools are and how they're largely underplayed by the community. Like there's definitely something that went on, because like I've been shot by those stupid flight controllers AI beach balls, and that shit hurts. Like it's wild what happens when those things spike. Like I'm sitting there and my squad is blowing up, and I'm like, what is going on? How many points is this thing? And it's
11.
Just like, you know, like all my squads are just dying. It's absolutely absurd.
Yes,
and sometimes
Ken has said, here is a card that deserves some errata to allow it to work.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's on the list. It's above Reuben's request for sure.
Definitely. I want to see, like, the first thing I want to see before anything is this card, because when this card came out, I was like, this is so cool. And then I read it a second time, and I was like, okay, it doesn't really do what I think it does.
Oh, wait, it doesn't do anything?
Yeah, I was like, so what does it do? And it's like, okay, so you get one turn where you get to activate some more squadrons than your opponent, and they hit harder. That's pretty cool, but, like, I would rather have, like, there's so many other cards that you put in this place. Are there any double offensive in CIS?
Yeah, the Requisite. Support.
Oh, well, like,
So,
okay.
And then this card, and you look at Sand Hill too, where he spins the command token, the squad command token, to activate extra squadrons in this step, and you're like, they really wanted a design space where you could have like 20 freaking generics and go, ha 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 ha, I'm the swarm man.
Poor Sand Hill, man. There was like a thing here that just got shut down at some point.
Yeah, there was like something here was like really close to having like that theme that we saw in episode 3 with just all the swarms of fighters all over the place, but it just didn't land.
Imagine if you had, stick with me, all right, Providence, you've got Hyperwave, you've got Sand Hill, it's a clutch moment of the game, and you are have flight controllers in the Providence, and Sand Hill works to where you can discard both his tokens, activate Hyperwave to like give your things rogue. All of a sudden you have 5 tri-fighters, flight controllers, and AI that just come barreling towards you, right? That would be so cool.
Now, I have a question.
I want my 10-point YT 1600, please.
I have a question.
World we're living in.
I want the offensive upgrade that gives the CIS squads buzz droids.
Yeah, that would be.
Yes.
Oh man, buzz droids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna once those NDAs are gone out there, I bet somebody's got something.
Yeah, it's when attacking, if you deal damage, they activate the squadron. Definitely. I have a question about this Hyperwave.
Yes.
Okay. There's nothing here that inherently prevents you from active or exhausting multiple copies of this card, right? Are we seeing that anywhere?
Okay.
If I took 2 of these, right, would that mean on my first activation I can exhaust both of them and activate up to that many squadrons?
Well, it says this card. You may exhaust the card.
Yeah, I don't know the timing of this, but I feel like we've been over this, and it's somewhere in either the CARM or in the forum. But I don't remember what the ruling is.
That would be kind of cool.
Maybe? I mean, I don't know. You could be on something, Nick. But I feel like it's not
hard sell.
I still don't think it's great. I think it's great, but like, imagine having like 8 vultures, and you're just like, oh, it's squadron phase. I'm first player. Okay, I'm gonna activate, and you just like activate your entire squad ball, and just like you can have your alpha push without actually dialing up squadron commands on your ships.
You're gonna have to bring like 12, so when they push all their squad ball into you,
But you
and
are
five of
bringing
yours
12.
die,
Oh, whatever. You are
And
bringing
then-
12.
but then you got them when you want them, which
All
is
right,
a very
all right,
CIS
hold on.
thing to do.
I have the official answer. Stand by.
All right, let's
You
see
got
it.
it. Okay, you got it.
This is
Okay, and then we have to cut this off because
Then we gotta cut it.
No,
We gotta cut
we've
it.
run a
It's
bit
very-
long
No.
tonight.
Yeah,
We
stand
run
by,
long every
everybody.
night.
Stand by.
See, I'm always thinking of the jank. I'm always thinking of those.
You
those
are
fringe
always
cases.
thinking of Jank. Like, somebody's got to balance you out. Thankfully, it's
Yes,
me.
yes, Nick, you can do that. You can exhaust
Ooh.
There we
multiple
go.
copies of this card at once.
Okay.
There we go. See,
All right, Chris, get in the lab.
That
Let's
is
see it on
that is
Thursday.
from the
No.
wonderful.
I've already
Garrett.
got mine that I'm fine tuning now, and I think 10 vulture droids are quite enough. Thank you.
All right, so yeah,
Vulture droids.
that's all we got, everybody. Offensive retrofits. What are we planning next, Chris? What's our next slot?
You know what? I hadn't really thought about it, but let's go weapons teams.
Weapons teams.
so we
Right.
did turbo ion. Did we skip ordnance?
Yes, we have
Yeah,
skipped
ordnance is
ordnance at
boring.
this point.
There's only one good one.
I'll fight you on that one.
Expanded, maybe.
We'll keep. I mean,
Expanded,
if you want to
yeah.
do ordnance, we can go ahead and do ordnance. I am
I
not
was just
picky.
theming wise, like we did all the weapons and we kind of skipped ordnance.
We'll go back and we'll do ordnance next time then.
Love it.
All right.
But
All
I
right.
will say thank you guys for being on the show tonight, and I want to thank you also for all your insights there, and looking forward to talking about the future of the game with you guys.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Of
everybody.
course.
All right, good night.
See y'all.
Take care, bud.
All right, so that's it for tonight. We do, of course, have Thursday Night Armada coming up on Thursday, so it's going to be a lot of fun with that. I'm not sure who we're going to have on the stream this time around. I'm hoping to have all my CIS stuff ready to go, and thank you, Ken, for tuning in. I really, really am glad to have people watching and contributing there. I hope you guys have a good night and a great week, and we will be back here in 2 weeks to do another show and talk about the ordinance. So take care, everybody.